Find beauty and joy in the mundane. Now, recently spring has arrived where I live, and although right now it doesn't feel like it because it's pretty cold out, there are buds on the trees starting to open up, the trees are starting to get their leaves again, plants are blooming, flowers are blooming. It's been really great, and what I've realized about that is that a lot of people don't even realize that, right? A lot of people look at the world and they just don't care, really. And what I'm getting at here is, it's kind of a funny story, but my girlfriend, we were sitting outside, and just out of the blue, she just gets up and like speed walks over to the grass and kneels down and is like looking for like fresh grass to grow, like looking to see if new grass had started to come up. And I just realized, it just hit me that like she's getting so much joy and happiness just from grass, and most people don't, right? And then I started to ask myself why that was, and I realized that our minds today, our daily habits, our lives are so overstimulated and so consumed by entertainment, by stimulation, by quick dopamine hits, right? We have put pleasure and entertainment and dopamine to such a high level in our lives, to the point where it's taking away from our ability to see beauty and to find joy in little things around us, right? And so what does this mean? The point of this YouTube channel is to try to bring people back to a more natural way of seeing the world, right? A more natural way of living, not necessarily to the way that Liver King used to do, where it's like eat raw liver and live like a caveman. Oh. But this is more about seeing the world from a more natural person's perspective. And what this means is that instead of looking at the world and thinking about video games, thinking about movies, thinking about social media posts, instead look at the world and think about the nature around you, think about the people around you, think about what really, really matters in the long run. And with this concept of finding joy in the mundane, the little things around you, ever since I started doing this, ever since I took a step back from social media, ever since I took a step back from YouTube and stimulation and video games, I realized that I found joy, I found happiness, I recognized beautiful things more around me. And a big part of that was me getting into gardening. And I'm kind of a nerd, and I know it sounds kind of silly, but gardening really, really helped me to find that joy, find that meaning and connection into the mundane, because by gardening and caring about little tiny micro factors when it came to taking care of plants and vegetables and things like that, you realize just how much goes into every single living thing on this earth. And then when you step back and you realize, like, oh my gosh, there's so much life around you, right? Every single blade of grass is alive, every single tree is alive, and it has its own story. And that's so beautiful to me to realize, and it's also sad to me to realize, but a lot of people don't even think about that. And so how can you really implement this finding meaning in the mundane concept in your life? Well, there's two things you have to start doing. The first one is taking a step back from social media. For me, this was quitting YouTube. I don't watch YouTube videos really at all anymore, and the only time I allow myself to watch YouTube videos if it is for like a tutorial, like a how-to guide or something, if I actually need it. This is a temporary thing. I do plan on adding YouTube back into my life, but only for educational purposes, like watching long-form podcasts and things like that. The reason I had to quit doing this, and the reason I had to take a step back from YouTube, is because I felt like it had too much of control over my life. But to find meaning in the mundane, you don't have to completely cut out an app. The best thing for you to do, especially if you're a beginner and you've never done anything like this, is to slowly cut back and slowly remove yourself from the internet, right? So if you are addicted to watching TikTok and you watched hours and hours of TikTok every single day, instead of just snapping your fingers and quitting TikTok, just set a time limit of how long you're going to allow yourself to stay on this app. And then when the time that you normally would be on that app, go outside, go look around, go see the world and try to find entertainment for yourself in a more natural, healthy way. And then eventually, slowly but surely, you won't be addicted to that app anymore, because you're going to keep sacrificing time. You're going to keep shortening that amount of time that you allow yourself to spend every single day, and progressively overload to the point where you almost never go on TikTok anymore. And the next thing you should do to implement this protocol in your life is gratitude journaling. Now, this is something that I've been struggling with to do consistently, but I do definitely plan on making it more of a part of my routine, and that is gratitude. And what this does is it literally allows you to recognize the beauty in your life. It's basically practicing finding joy in the mundane. And basically all you have to do to gratitude journal is sit down, look around, and then every single day write down 3 things you're grateful for. That's it. That is literally all you have to do. You can do it on your iPhone notes, you can do whatever you want, but write down 3 things every single day that you're grateful for. Trust me, it is absolutely worth it. I know it sounds silly, and the first couple times you're going to do it, it's not going to matter much to you, but eventually you're going to realize that your mind is going to start producing grateful, happy, joyful thoughts automatically. You'll be looking at something and you'll just randomly get a thought in your head like, wow, I'm really grateful for that tree because it has pretty flowers in the spring, right? That's how your mind's going to start operating. That's how your brain is going to automatically basically give you positive thoughts that are so good for your mental health and so good for your mood, and you're going to become a happier, more joyful person, and you're going to see the beauty in the world around you more if you implement these 2 practices in your life. If you stop overstimulating yourself, and if you start practicing gratitude. That's all I got for today. And God bless you, and stay wild.